My advice to parents is to simply parent. Again, you are in control. Know that as a parent, it's not the child, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a young child, there becomes this bubble around them and their device potentially that they start being protective of. They need to know that that is an open book for the parent to look at. As a parent, you want to make sure that you have the passcode, you can get in, that you can check their messages, check their viewing habits. I think that's imperative.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media. And we also ask them questions that we get from parents all over the country in our program. Now let's get back to the interview.
Hi, I'm Todd Fraley. I'm superintendent of schools in Sedalia, Missouri. We're right in the middle of the state and right in the middle of the country. We have a school district of about 5,000 students. We have 10 sites where we educate those kids daily.
That's great, Superintendent. It's so good to have you here today as we talk about keeping students safe online so they can be successful in school and someday shine online. Our signature quote here at smartsocial.com. All right, for all of our parent viewers, welcome back. It's good to have you, whether you're a superintendent of schools, a parent, or anyone in between, or a guardian. We love you, guardians. We're here to help you navigate these digital waters. Now, the first question we have for our guest here today, Superintendent, is about parent ed, parent education, parent engagement. And as districts implement cell phone-free policies in the classroom and on campus, parents are telling us that they're left in the dark sometimes, begging for strategies they can use to work with their kids at home. What are your suggestions for other districts or any other communities to increase parent education around engagement and cell phone use so that parents can be on the same page as the school district?
Well, I think, first of all, I'd like to say that I think it's an area of growth for our school district, that we have work to do, work left to do with our parents and education along the lines of social media usage. But that being said, we do find that we have a whole lot more effective instruction when the cell phones are put up. When they're put away, they're just too big of a distraction in the classroom. At the junior high and high school level, we've introduced some new strategies the last couple of years where those phones do get placed safely away from the student, and then they can have them, of course, during passing times, et cetera. So I think it's for parents, it's the managed use, trying to find a balance there. So it's not just overtaking, everyone's thought processes all the time.
I like that. I'm taking note of that, Superintendent. I get to learn from all of our district leaders like you, managed/balanced use. I like that a lot. I think that's a reasonable approach. And what I heard from you is put them up, which is your phrase for let's put them away somewhere in the classroom so we can focus on what the teacher has in mind for us that day, the learning, if you will. Love that. Superintendent, the next question we get from parents all the time is the social media's impact on teens. And I know in some cases, principals and teachers are closer to the kiddos, but you were a principal. You probably started out as a teacher as well in education. I'd love to get your insight on any type of media's impact on teens in your community and maybe what you've heard about. And the specific question is, how are you seeing or what trends are you seeing when it comes to social media's impact on teens' self-esteem, motivation, and maybe decision-making in the district or in the community?
I think social media has become something that almost everybody, if you look at it, similar to what you put in your body as far as food, you'll get an input and output. So it's about, and we also know that social media is based on certain algorithms, and it will feed you what you are seeking out. So it's about seeking out positives rather than negatives, because if you seek out the negative on social media, that's what it's going to feed you. And then, of course, what you eat, you become. So we want to make sure that we're feeding our young folks, our youth, the right type of information, the right type of energy to promote growth and good self-esteem and motivation to do the right things. What we do find, though, on the negative side of this equation, and there are many of those, like anything in life, there's a good, there's a bad, there's yin, yang, however you want to describe it. A quick example from the self-esteem standpoint that we've had a little trouble in recent years getting girls out for basketball and have low numbers and trying to figure out what all is causing that. There's multiple reasons, multiple factors, but one in particular teen brought this up to a coach, and that coach shared it with me. And it was just like, wow, I didn't think about that. And this is particular was a female, and shared with a coach that if I'm on a team, I'm out there, I'm in the spotlight. They're going to be recorded. All games, almost all games anymore, even at high school and junior high levels, are broadcast or live streamed. And then, of course, photographed and social media posts, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or any number of mediums. And their concept of themselves, then they don't want to put their body and their appearance out there for the whole world, and in their mind, a perception potentially to criticize or pick apart. And that was really eye-opening for me when I heard that story. And that's a piece, when you look at social media, most people put all the good, the Photoshop, the AI, and et cetera. And unfortunately, sometimes it gives kids a false sense of reality.
Yeah, so true. It's kind of their highlight reel, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Superintendent, the next question that we get from parents is all about screen time. I'd love your insights into what are your tips that parents can do to better manage screen time at home?
Well, the old school part of me, I do have a lot of old school in me, is put it up, manage it. You're the parent. You have the authority, the ability to take that device, whether it be an Apple Watch to an iPad or a cell phone, and hey, it's time they go away. They get unplugged and unplug your children. And then on top of that it's about, as a family unit or single mother, single father, nuclear family, whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter, is planning things as a family to do together minus the technology. So whether that be going back to old school things like let's play cards, let's get out the Monopoly board, let's have a movie night, or let's go for a hike, let's get the bicycles out, whatever that may be. But having planned activities that you do together minus the devices.
Yeah, so well said. I like that. Old school planned activities. Excellent. The next question for all of our listeners today that parents ask us is, Josh, what makes these apps so addictive? Well, let's hear from students as they explain why they can't stop scrolling. For all of our listeners right now, you know that this is an excerpt from one of our live parent night events where we support you in this digital journey as we navigate it together. Here we go.
I think the most addictive part about social media is the constant new content that you see. You're always being introduced to new content, especially on apps like TikTok. I think the short videos, when they end so quick, you start to lose your ability to have a longer attention span. I've caught myself finding long TikTok videos and I can't stand watching the whole thing.
This generation really adapted to the fact that we don't have a large attention span. We really only concentrate for 30 seconds. So getting information that quickly, I think, enables us to just want to keep watching more. You don't even need to care about what they're presenting to you, but just the fact that you can sit there and watch it and you're oddly enjoying it. Social media is pretty addictive. People said it's like a drug. So it is addictive because you can't stop watching it. Your mind just plays on loop and it enjoys the fulfillment of everything firing in your brain. So just keep watching.
So fascinating. And for all of our parents listening and watching right now, remember, if your school district is a partner, we have weekly live parent events and replays that you can share with friends going through a tough time on these topics. We'll show you what they are. We have real teens in the program, experts, psychologists, therapists, counselors, and teens, a premium parent newsletter. And we want to show you when it goes right. Here's what it looks like for all of our partner districts listening today.
Many kids as young as 10 years old will be unwrapping a cell phone for Christmas, but one school district is offering parents a gift this year, a tool to help them protect their kids using their cell phones.
It's really about safety. It's about safety of our learners.
Right now, College Community says about 400 parents are using the platform smartsocial.com. That's covered by the district's general funding. The hope is to partner with parents so they're able to keep their kids safe.
There's this tool that they didn't grow up with, or they grew up with, maybe one or two apps on that tool. And now their students are living in this world. We just believe that, protecting students is not just confined to the 7-hour school day. Their safety is important to us beyond that.
Smart Social's founder, Josh Oak, says he's been speaking about safety tips at schools across dozens of states, now reaching even more families by hosting live online Q&As and providing parents pointers. The goal, preventing potentially dangerous situations, like chatting with strangers and cyberbullying.
You won't be there for them forever. We want to make sure they're resilient and awesome using these new tools, and that they come to you when they need you, and that they make wise decisions when you're not around.
College Community says parents have been giving positive feedback about the program, as it continues to track students' online safety habits.
That's what it looks like. And to all of our partners, thank you so much. We're noticing that as attendance goes up in our live events, that some of the incidents, the social media incidents, are dropping, which is such a powerful thing. And remember, parents, this month is Shine Online. Don't forget that February is avoiding strangers and dangerous situations online. March is confident and resilient kids in a digital world. April is pros and cons of video games and the dangers of them, but also how to make them fun as a family. And each one of these has lots of apps in it. So if you're worried about one of the apps, come to one of these events. Not only will you get a gift card from my foundation for participating if you are in a partner school district, but you will also learn about all the different apps. Just look at December, it's optimizing parental controls. All of these are replayable and so on. Okay, we're back over to our guest, Superintendent. The next question that I get from parents is about avoiding strangers and dangerous situations online. So important. And I know it's a big part of both your heart and my heart to keep these kids safe. Now, what is your advice, Superintendent, to parents and students to avoid talking to strangers and avoiding dangerous situations online?
Well, again, my advice to parents is to simply parent. Again, you are in control. Know that as a parent, it's not the child, whether it's a teenager, whether it's a young child, there becomes this bubble around them and their device potentially that they start being protective of. They need to know that that is an open book for the parent to look at. As a parent, you want to make sure that you have the passcode, you can get in, that you can check their messages, check their viewing habits. I think that's imperative. That is your job. If you don't do that and you allow that usage to go unchecked, that's when you're really opening the door potentially to let the evil in, so to speak, and for them to make contacts where they don't need to make contacts. Because we all know there are predators searching for that crack in the window to get through.
Yeah, and you're so right. It is evil, those people out there. They don't love your kids as much as you do, parents. So anything they say to your kids is usually, as the superintendent just alluded to, is to get into the home, to get into your child's mind, and also to get information from them, unfortunately. The next question is a similar topic, Superintendent. It's about video games. And over the summer, video game usage is up like crazy. And my question for you is, what is your advice to parents and teens about video game safety and really also how to have fun as a family doing this, right? We believe that some screen time could be good as a family. If you're watching a movie as a family, it could be kind of fun. Having popcorn or ice cream and doing it as a family is good. Alone screen time, probably not so great. What's your advice here so parents can come together and make video games maybe part of the family or know how to manage too much when it comes to video games?
Well, yeah, again, I think it's about planning those activities as a family. If you're going to participate together, and we had a sleepover not long ago, had 5 teenage boys over New Year's hanging out. We pulled up an old school Wii. No one does the Wii much anymore. I had a little dance off. We participated with them, the adults, the kids. Everybody had a lot of fun. And you have to seek out those opportunities to use those mechanisms, whether it be movie night or game night, to take advantage of that. Now, as you know, from a safety standpoint, too, again, about knowing who your child is gaming with and keeping that line of communication open with your children to make sure you know exactly who is on the other side of that device. And I hope the goal is, at least goal is for our household, is that's a closed area. So we have a teenage boy in our home, and when he's gaming with his buddies, not gaming with somebody that we have no idea where this person lives or exists. So keeping a closed network.
That's probably one of the best tips you shared with us today. And know who your kids are talking with online and make sure it's an in real life person that they know at school or hanging out at church or somewhere else. I love it, Superintendent. Hey, Superintendent, want to thank you for coming out today. Thanks so much.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the folks out there and hopefully make a difference in people's lives. Thank you.
Absolutely. And to all of our listeners or viewers, remember Smart Social has these weekly live events on lots of different topics. And if you want to suggest a topic, go to our Contact Us page. We're listening to people, quite frankly, millions of people a year from across the country in 29 different states that we're in. It's a lot to listen to, but we're listening to your needs and creating events that encapsulate everything you didn't know that you need to know before, so that you have those dialogue starters to fix anything that could happen. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening today. And as the title of my book says, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite, because your kids can see what you're doing online. We'll see all of you on the next episode Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. Smart Social helps parents understand technology and social media to keep their kids safe and successful. Be sure to join one of our weekly online live events to become the smartest parent on the block so you can keep your kids safe and protect their future. Also, don't miss our 450 plus online resources and replays you can watch on demand in multiple languages. Are you a school district wanting to unlock these resources for your parents? Reach out to us so we can protect your whole community each week. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you on the next episode.